Hello, and welcome back to our third episode of Mason Jar Science. I am your friendly summer scientist, Jarla Yorkshire, and this week we're making Mason Jar Play Doh. Let's take a look at our materials and our instructions, and then we'll get started. All right, let's look at the materials we will need for our mason jar Play-Doh. You need a quart-sized mason jar with a two-piece lid, half-pint mason jar, mixing tool and oven mitts, 1 cup flour, a half-cup salt, 1 teaspoon cream of tartar, 1 cup water, 10 to 15 drops of food coloring of your choice, and 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil. Now let's look at the instructions. So, in the quart-sized jar, you're going to mix the dry ingredients, which are the flour, salt, and cream of tartar. Cream of tartar may be the only thing that you do not have in your home, but you can find it on the seasonings aisle in the grocery store, and it is really not that expensive. In the half-pint jar, you're going to mix the water, food coloring, and then you're going to add it to the quart-sized jar. So then you're going to mix in, once you add the dry ingredients and the liquid ingredients, stir it up. Then mix in the vegetable oil. Continue to mix until all of the salt, all the dry mixture, is mixed in with the liquid and you don't have any clumps and that sort of thing. By then it should be looking like paint. Then you're going to take that quart-sized jar and you're going to put it in the microwave for 1.5 minutes. This is the part where now you need to take over this section, parents, and not allow your children to handle this jar once it comes out of the microwave because it's going to be hot. Make sure you, parents, use the oven mitts. Remove the jar from the microwave using the oven mitts. Allow it to cool just a little, enough that you can actually hold the jar so that you can be scraping the Play-Doh off the sides of the jar, kind of mixing it all together. The mixture is going to be thick, so you're going to have to put some muscle into it. Once you have done that, side note, if you pull it out of the microwave and it's still a little liquidly, put it back in the microwave for another 10 seconds, no more than 15. You're going to use the stirring tool. You're going to pull the Play-Doh out onto your surface, your counter, whatever you're using that you have lightly dusted with flour. And then you're going to knead that dough like you do bread. So you're going to knead it, smooth it all out so that it is smooth. And basically you have your Play-Doh. Once the jar has completely cooled down and the Play-Doh itself is no longer warm, so the jar and the Play-Doh are cool, put the Play-Doh back in the jar. When you're done with it, put the lid on it, store it. It'll keep for months as long as you keep that lid on it, just like regular Play-Doh. If you don't leave the lid off, you don't leave it out, it doesn't get hard. You can use it for quite some time. So, those are our ingredients and our instructions. Let's make some Play-Doh. Okay, so we are ready to get started putting our ingredients together. So we're going to start with the ingredients for the quart size jar. So I'm size jar. Here's I've already measured. So you got a cup of flour, your teaspoon of cream of tartar, your 1/2 cup of salt, and of course our mixing material. So let's go ahead and put in all the dry ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and put 1/2 cup of salt in. I'm going to add in the cream of tartar. I'm going to put in, I'm going to use my stirrer to help me with this flour. We're going to add flour. Stir that all. Mix that flour and that pint jar. We're going to pour our cup of water into there. And then we want to decide which color food coloring we're going to use. I'm going to go with blue. I'm going to go with blue. So you get your blue food coloring and about 10 to 15 drops. So now we have our blue liquid. And so now that we have combined, we're going to now add our water mixture to our quart jar. So we're just going to pour that in. Start mixing that up. Get in there. Feel like you have, let's see, from the top side, that you have it mixed well. The consistency of need to add a teaspoon of our vegetable oil. You want to measure, not just pour. So take the teaspoon, all and put in there. And I'm going to take a quick second, set all of those things, mix in that vegetable oil. And now we're getting to the part where we would get ready to use the microwave. The mixture is in the microwave. I'm going to go ahead and get my surface ready. Remember, we're going to have to remove the mixture and pour it out and kind of knead it. So we just need a little light dusting of flour to get that ready. Okay, so once you take the mixture out of the microwave, it should be pretty much thick like mud. If it's still real runny and soupy, and you can tell that I'm handling the bowl, so I let it cool a little bit already. If it's still, after your minute and a half, still like soupy, you can put it on for like another 10 seconds, no more than 15, and then just take it out, let it cool enough where you can handle it, because you can see, like I said, it gets real thick. You want to mix it, try to get all of it off the sides. And now you want to be able to knead it. So here's where I would, for me, I'm taking it out of my bowl. For you, you will be scraping out of the jar on to this surface. That's got the flour on it. Try to get it. Okay. doing regular dough as if we were baking bread. You want to get it where it's nice and smooth. And you see, it's just like Play-Doh that you buy out of the store. And with the exception of maybe having to get the food coloring and the cream of tartar. And if you have bakers in your family, I would check with them first because you only need a teaspoon of it. You can see I'm really enjoying this. And essentially, you have your Play-Doh, okay? Now this Play-Doh is still a little bit warm. Now you would have scraped the sides of the jar and then you would be able to put this back in the jar. Leave the top off until the jar is completely cooled and the Play-Doh is cool. Now you don't want to let it get hard, and then you can put it back in, put the lid on it, and just like with regular Play-Doh, as long as you keep the lid on it, take it out, kids play with it, put it back in the jar, it'll last for quite some time. And like I say, you can repeat this experiment as many times as you want, changing the color of the Play-Doh, and voila, we have Play-Doh. So you could pull it apart, roll it around. You want to make I don't know, blue snowman. Like, you know. There's my attempt at my blue snowman. But you will use it just like regular Play-Doh. I'm done playing with it. So I would just put it back in the jar. Now I would let that Play-Doh cool just a little bit more because it's still a little warm to my hands. All of this cleans up with regular soap and water. You put the top on it and look how much Play-Doh you actually have. And there you have it. Jar Play-Doh. Thank you for joining me for the third episode. Play-Doh, Mason jar Play-Doh. Stay tuned for our next episode. As always, so friendly summer scientist, Yardley, Yorkshire. Bye-bye.